Hello everyone. So in this lecture we will be discussing about the coin change problem. So what does this question say? This question says that we are given an array and an amount x. So the array contains the denominations and we need to find that in how many ways we can make the change x if we have infinite supply of each and every denomination. So if we see an example over here, what do we have? We have an array of denominations 1, 2 and 3 and we need to make an amount of 4. So our function should return 4 over here. And what does this 4 signify? This 4 signifies the total number of ways with which we can make the amount with the help of the given denominations. So if we see over here, how can we make this amount 4? We can either pick 4 coins of 1, or we can pick 2 coins of 1 and 1 coin of 2, or we can pick 1 coin of 1 and 3, and we can take 2 coins of 2. So the same way in the other example, what are we given? We are again given 4 denominations of 1, 3, 5 and 7, and the amount which we need to make is 8 over here. So our function should return 6. So now coming on to the recursive tree, what do we have over here? We are given an array of denominations which contains 3 denominations and we need to make a change of 4. So coin is the function which would be returning us the total number of ways with which we can make the amount of 4. This array is actually the reference or a pointer to our denominations array. This 3 is the total number of elements which we have, or the denominations which we have. This 4 is the amount which we need to make, and this is the index on which currently I am sitting on. So what do we have over here? At each and every denomination, I need to make a choice that whether should I include this denomination in the way with which I can make the change, or I do not include it. So if I include it, then what would I be doing? How will I simulate that? I will be simulating by reducing the amount of the denomination from my leftover amount. So what is the leftover amount over here? It is the initial amount, because this is my base call. So what is the denomination present at index 0? It's 1. So if I make use of this 1 for making the change of this amount, so how much amount will I be left with then? I would be left with only 3, because I would be subtracting 1 from this one, and but I wouldn't be increasing my index over here. That's the catch. Now if I do not include it, then what would I be left with? Over here I would be incrementing my index, but I will send the whole amount in my subsequent recursive call. So I have sent all of 4 over here, and all of 4 over here. What does this mean? This means that I didn't choose the element present in index 0. That's why all of the amount has been given to my subsequent recursive call. So now what does this subproblem mean? Now this subproblem means, just tell me, starting from this index 0 till end of the array, in how many ways can I make an amount of 3? This subproblem means this thing. And what does this subproblem mean? This subproblem means, okay, just tell me, starting from this index 1 till end of the array, in how many ways can I make an amount of 4? This subproblem says this thing. So again, whether to choose the element present in index 0 or whether not to choose it. So if I choose it, then what would I be left with? I would be left with an amount of 2, because I would be reducing the 1 from 3 as well. And if I do not choose it, then I will be sending 3 to my subsequent recursive call, but I will be incrementing my index. And the increment in this index, or whatever this index might contain, this says that till this index I have handled all the denominations. Just now, then tell me, starting from this denomination till end of the array, in how many ways can I make this change or this amount? The same way, what does this subproblem mean? That I am currently sitting at index 0, starting from this index till end of the array, in how many ways can I make an amount of 2? Just tell me that thing. The same way, if I choose to include the element present in index 0, if I do not choose the denomination present in index 0. So if I choose it, then what would I be left with? I would be left with coin of 1, 0. Then again, if I choose it, if I do not choose it, if I choose it, then what would I be left with? I would be left with coin 0, 0. And what does this mean? This is actually a base case. And why is this a base case? Because now I am left with no amount over here. Look, how did I get 0 over here? Only when all of the 4 I would have got till now. And how did I get this 0 actually? I just made use of 1, then again 1, then again 1, then again 1. Then I made use of 4 coins of 1s. Hence, I got amount of 0. Again, each and every path over here, actually shows you the denominations which you made use of. And again, each and every denomination is infinite supply. So there is no need to make a check whether how many denominations can I make use of. As I have infinite supply, so even if I had 40 over here, then my first path, this I am talking about, this would have been 40 times one denomination. But I have a 4 over here. So what does it mean? I made a use of 1. That's why I got a 3. Then again I made a use of 1. That's why I got 2. Then again I made a use of 1. Then I got 1. Then I again made use of 1. And hence I got 0. But as soon as I got 0, it means that I have already made my amount. So there is no need to go further. Hence I will be returning 1 over here. So now if we come to this subproblem, what does this subproblem say? This subproblem say that currently I am sitting at index 1. So just tell me, starting from this index till end of the array, in how many ways can I make a change of 1? So I have expanded it over here. So if I choose to make the use of the denomination present at this index, so what would I be left with? What is the denomination present at this index? It's 2 over here. It's 2. So if I choose to make use of that denomination, so what is the amount which I would be left with? I would be left with an amount of minus 1. So can you ever have a sum of some positive integers which will lead you to a negative integer? No, you cannot have it. And hence I will be returning a 0 from this path. The same way, if I do not choose it, the denomination present at index 1, then what would I be left with? I will be left with coin 1 comma 2. What does this subproblem say? This subproblem say that currently I am at index 2. Starting from this index till end of the array, just tell me in how many ways can I make a change of 1. So again, I have two options, whether I choose it, whether I do not choose it. If I choose it, then I am left with coin minus 2 comma 2. And if I do not choose it, then I am left with coin 1 comma 3. But in this case, both are base cases. This is a base case again. Why? Because I am left with a negative amount now. I cannot make a negative amount with the help of positive denominations. And hence I will be returning 0 from this path. But what about this path? Why am I returning 0 from this path? Look, can you notice this 3? Do we have any denomination present at index 3 over here? No. This 3 signifies that I am out of my denominations now. Now I do not have even a single coin with me. So when I do not have even a single coin with me, so can you ever make a change out of no coin? No. You can never make a change out of no coin. And hence I will be returning 0 again from this path. So 0 plus 0 is 0. So the answer to coin 1 comma 2 is 0. And what does that 0 signify to this subproblem? That 0 signifies that starting from this index 2 till end of the array, there are 0 ways to make an amount of 1. That 0 signifies this thing. So if we come to coin 3 comma 2, what does this say? This subproblem means that I am currently sitting at index 2, starting from this index till end of the array. In how many ways can I make a change of 3? So if I make use of change, make use of the change or make use of the denomination present at index 2, then what would I be left with? I would be left with a change of 0, because what is the denomination present at index 2? It's 3. So if I do make use of that, so how much amount will I be left with? I will be left with 0 amount, because I have to make an amount of 3 and I have a coin of 3. And hence what would I be left with? I will be left with coin 0 comma 2. Now this is again a base case. Why is this a base case? Because of this 0. This 0 means that I already have an amount with me now. I do not need to recurse further. So I will be returning 1 from this subproblem. What about this subproblem? It would be returning 0, because again I am out of bound by noticing this 3 over here. So the answer to this subproblem, coin 3 comma 2, would be 1 plus 0, that's 1. And what does that one signify? That one signifies that starting from this index till end of the array, there is one way to make a change of 3. And that's only by picking this 3 specifically. So that one signifies this thing. So this path returns 1 over here. And how did I get a 4 over here? By making use of one denomination of this 1. That's why I would have got a 3 from this 4. So I made a use of 1. Then I made a use of 3. That's why I got this 0 over here. So this path I am talking about. This path says that I made a use of denomination 1 and a 3 and I got a 4. So this is one path of making a change of 4. And what about this one? This one is by making use of 4 coins of 1. This is one way to make a change. So if you notice over here carefully, so the paths over here from this root node to all the leaf nodes in this recursive tree, whichever leaf node would be returning 1. Those are the total number of ways to make an amount over here. So if we see that the total number of ones are 5, then there are 5 ways to make an amount. If the total number of leaves which return 1 are 8, then there are 8 ways to make an amount. So this is the way this recursive algorithm works. So I highly recommend you to just branch out for each and every subproblem so that you can have a look at how many leaves return 1 over here. And each and every leaf returning 1 is actually a path, is actually a way to make the amount. So for approaching this problem with the help of dynamic programming, what we need to have optimal substructure as well as overlapping subproblems. So we do see we have overlapping subproblems over here, such as this coin 1 comma 1 and this coin 1 comma 1. So if I just branch out for this coin 1 comma 1, then I would be seeing more overlapping subproblems. But I didn't do it over here because I can easily see with the help of this recursive call over here. And do we have optimal substructure? Yes, we do have optimal substructure. Why? Because with the help of all these base cases and all these subproblems, we devised a solution for this main intended problem, and hence we can say we have an optimal substructure. So in the next lecture, we will be looking at how to optimize this recursive algorithm with the help of dynamic programming, and we will see this with the help of tabulation method.